Welcome, everyone. We have some real delightful mazel tovs. Mazel tov to the Zell family on the birth of a great-granddaughter, correct? A great-grandson. A great-grandson. Is this the first? Baruch Hashem. A great-grandson. Shmizaychel achnisa lebrisa shel Avraham Avinu bizmanai, and Yirtzeh Hashem by the chasana with gesund. Mazel tov to the Warman family on kiddush of a granddaughter. And you know something? The coming year should bring in for all of us many, many simchas. Okay, tonight we have the daf at 8, so now the daf is fixed at 8 o'clock. And Mincha Ma'ariv will move, but the daf will stay at 8, and then when it gets a little earlier, we'll work on having also a second Ma'ariv at 7:45. We'll work on that, not yet, it's a little too early for that, but when it gets earlier, we'll work on a second Ma'ariv. Also, tonight will be a chok after the daf, so that's why I'm recording the Mishnayos now. So we are holding at Mishnah Vav and Mishnah Zayin. Mishnah Vav and Mishnah Zayin, we're learning, sponsored by the Fisher family, in the Mishnah's Basia Bas Robert, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruven, Nishmas David ben Chaim, Lefu Shalem Efel Yom Moshe Mechai Sar, for the schus of Avram Yom Benish Malki Yudis, by Yo Klugman for their Panasa Gesund and Nachas, Lefu Shalem Efel Meir ben Chai Sara. So again, the Mishnah is talking about, let's say, that Jack stole something from Yossi, and so he confesses, he swore that he didn't steal, and then he confesses. So the din he has to pay the Karen, the principal, a chaimish, and bring an osham. And we said that when he has to return it, he has to return it even if he has to go lemadai to return it to Yossi. Now, nasan lo yasa karen. Let's say he gave Yossi the principal. V'loi nasan lo yasa chaimish. He didn't give him the fifth. Machalei ala karen. Let's say Yossi forgave him for the principal. V'loi machalei ala chaimish. But Yossi's a stickler. He didn't forgive him for the fifth. He forgave him for everything, except for less than a shavapruta of the principal. Then he doesn't have to go to Madai to return it. You don't have to go to Madai to return for the fifth. You don't have to go to Madai to return if it's less than a pruta of the principal. But if he gave to Yossi the fifth, he didn't give him the principal. Or Yossi says, look, I don't need extras. I mechel you on the fifth. But he wasn't mechel him on the principal. Or it was mechel, but he says, look, you got to pay something. Chutz mishava pruta by Karen. He wasn't mechel a shava pruta of the Karen. Then Jack still has to go lamadai. He has to follow after him lamadai in order to pay a pruta of the principal. Now, Nosan lo yasa keren. If Jack gave him the principal, so Yossi says, what about the fifth? So he said, no, I swear I took care of that. And then he confesses. So then he has to pay him the fifth and a fifth of the fifth. He has to pay the fifth, plus, since he swore and confessed about it, he has to pay a fifth of the fifth. And it keeps on going until it's going to be less than a pruta. Now this din is also true about a pikadon. Let's say Yossi deposited by Jack a kais, and then he asked him for it, and Jack swore, you never gave me a kais, and then he confesses. So again, he has to give him the kais, he has to pay a fifth, he has to bring an asham, and he has to return the kais to Madai. Shenemar, for this din is true, b'pikadon, about a deposit, oy b'sesumas yod, we're going to have this in the al-chetz sh'chetan l'fanecha, b'sesumas yod. Sumas yod is about a loan, oy b'gazel, or about theft, oy osha kesamisoy, or about withholding wages, oy matza aveda, or about a lost article, v'kichesh ba, boy Jack, you've been very naughty, you found a lost article, and he denies it, v'nishba al-shaker, and he swears falsely, so then when he confesses, he has to bring an ashim, he has to pay the principal and add a fifth. Mishalim, Karen, v'chaimish, the principal, a fifth, v'ashim, and a guilt offering. Now, the Mishnah ends off with the following case. Yossi says, Heichan pikdaini, where's my deposit? So here Jack tells him, Amalei avad, it's lost. Mashbiachani, so I put you to an oath. V'amar amen, and Jack says amen. V'edim idinai soisha achalei, and it was in this case it was a Ziegelman's cake that he deposited by him, and Jack liked Ziegelman's cake. V'edim idinai soisha achalei, and witnesses testified, that's Rabbi Friedman and Michal Avram testified that Jack ate it. In this case, Mishalim Karen. He only pays a Karen. He only pays a principal. Because here he didn't confess. In order to be chayav an Ashim and a Chaimish, he has to confess. Hoida me'atzmai, if he confesses, and Reb Kiva Eger says a big chiddush over here. Reb Kiva Eger says if he confesses even after the witnesses come, Mishalim Karen v'chaimei shba Ashim. He pays the principal, a fifth, and an ashim. Now there's another hidden chiddush here in the Mishnah, and that is that in the case where witnesses came, Jack would only be chayiv the principal, not kefil. And the real reason why there's no kefil is because there isn't kefil by toyin tainis ovad. And if it would be toyin tainis gonav, it would be different. But here it's Toyin Tainis Avad, he claims that it was lost, so if there were witnesses, he would only be chayiv the principal. If he confesses, then he would have to pay the principal a fifth and bring an ashim.